There's one thing holding your Pittsburgh Steelers back, and that's the offense, and we all understand that. We all know that. But there's one glaring issue that this offense has that may seem to be very obvious, very elementary to most fans. However, it's one thing that has to be fixed, and it may not be as easy to fix as some may think. And there needs to be a lot of change, and there needs to be maybe not personnel changes across the board widely, but there needs to be change and maybe scheme and maybe a little bit of cohesiveness and a little bit of time to allow this offensive front to gel. Yes, the offensive line is the big reason that this Pittsburgh Steelers team is failing. Kenny Pickett has many flaws, but his main flaw is being able to drop back and feel somewhat comfortable. I'm watching this tape, when Kenny's dropping back, I feel like he's not focused on going through his progressions as he should be while a quarterback is dropping back. That is something instrumental to what they have to do to be a quality quarterback, especially in your younger years in the NFL. You have to be able to be comfortable with your offensive line, and you have to be able to start your progression early. As you're dropping back, your eyes have to be down the field. And the fundamental things are what make a football team. When you're doing the fundamentals correctly, that's when your team can become elite. That's when your team becomes great. It isn't all these eccentric, pretty things, shiny things. It's not all about that. Football is a sport that you have to be fundamentally sound. And if you're not fundamentally sound, you're not going to be good. I don't care how many superstars you have. And we see this a lot in the NFL. Teams will build super teams and have so many great players. However, they're not that great. Why? Because the fundamentals are an issue. The fundamentals aren't there. Everybody's trying to do the nice, new, shiny thing. Everybody's trying to be smarter than they need to be. The NFL and football at all levels is about one thing, and that is about doing the small things right all the time, every snap. And that is the beautiful thing about football. It all resorts down and all comes down to the fundamentals, to the basics. And the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line has to get there, and they have to remember the basics. And that will trickle down to your quarterback, who feels and looks, to me, uneasy in the pocket, constantly worrying about that pass rush, constantly looking to his sides, worrying about, hey, is this guy going to nail me in the back? Do I have time to deliver this football? Am I going to get hit as I throw and create a bad turnover? Those things, yes, you have to worry about, but you have to have a little bit of comfortability with that offensive front, and you have to be able to start that progression early, dropping back. By the time Kenny hits that back foot, especially now in his younger days, he needs to be throwing the football. 3, 5-step drop, whatever it may be, 7-step drop. When that back foot hits that last step on the drop back, he needs to be delivering the football. He needs to have already made his decision on where that football's going. Why? Because he is looking down the field as he's dropping back, creating the ability for him to feel comfortable to throw the football. Not worrying about the pass rush on every single second of his drop back. Not waiting until he gets a couple steps from finishing his drop back. Now he's looking downfield and he's trying to scramble and trying to force the football and making bad throws or bad decisions. That's the big thing. And I've watched it so many times, and I see so many videos out there trying to give people all these elaborate answers on why the Steelers offense is failing. It's Matt Canada. It's Kenny Pickett. This or that. The run game's this or that. It is one simple thing, guys. And we as fans have to realize it. It's one thing. Where are the fundamentals at on that offensive front? Yes, they have gotten a little bit better. And I see the growth. And I see now that you have Broderick Jones in there, I think that left side's a lot better. I think maybe Chooks needs to be replaced by a Dan Moore Jr. when he's healthy. I'm thinking that may be the right choice and putting him on the right side because I feel like Chooks isn't playing extremely well. So, Also, Daniels coming back. That might help the offensive line. So they need still to be able to gel. This is a completely new offensive front. There's so many moving parts in this offensive line this season that they have to have time in real game action to be able to develop those fundamentals and to be steady and steadfast in front of their quarterback. And that is, my friends, the biggest issue. And I know a lot of people are going to knock me and say, oh, that's not it, and give me some big, long answer. But I am absolutely convinced that the offensive line is the biggest issue right now. And it doesn't matter what play you call or anything. What matters is if that offensive line is able to get that initial push, is able to pass protect correctly, able to recognize their assignments, and to be able to properly identify the pass rush, where it's coming from, who's the blitzers, where things are happening, and what kind of exotic things the defense is trying to do. Let's figure out, hey, where's the heat coming from? We have to figure that out. And basic blocking skills, basic technique, just basic things that need to be fixed. And once that offensive front starts doing those basic fundamental things, I think the Steelers line will start to gel. As you saw them last season gel. They did the same thing, I feel like, last season. They started to get really good together in the last 8 or 9 games of the season last year. And it really showed, and it showed in the Steelers' record. And I think that could happen again. I hope that it could happen again. That the line continues to gain strides and becomes better each week. And let's see what happens with this extra time that they have now that they're on the bye week. 1, first and foremost, to get healthy. 2, get in there and watch the film and talk about being fundamentally sound with the group. The offensive line coach has to be in there preaching the fundamentals, getting them out on the field, doing the fundamentals over and over until it becomes second nature and they're so comfortable with each other that they know exactly what the man beside them is going to be doing, what the man beside them's thinking, because they're all on the same page. I think that that's what has to change for this Steelers offense in order for it to be successful. It has to start up front. And there's an old saying that, everything starts in the trenches. And that's a football saying that I've heard over and over. The game starts. The plays start in the trenches. And it's so true. And it's proving to be so true for the 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that they're going to be able to get it together. I really do. And I do definitely see growth. But until they get in the lab and they start to gel and they start to become a unit, a cohesive unit that is fundamentally sound, Kenny Pickett will not get any better. He will not. Because he's never going to be able to be comfortable in the pocket. And again, that's what the Steelers defense prides itself on. That is making opposing quarterbacks completely uncomfortable and running for their life. And that's what's being done to Kenny Pickett continually each week. And he's never able to quite get in a rhythm. And I think once Kenny is able to be comfortable, that's when you'll start to see those big time throws where he's able to hit that back foot and fully drive the football downfield. You don't see him most of the time, 98% of the time, he's not able to truly drive the football down the field due to being uncomfortable, due to forcing the football by not knowing where he's going to go with it until the absolute last second where he's making his decision. When you're coming back on that drop, you're seeing things and you're looking for things as a quarterback to where you can start to throw people open. And that's what you have to do in the NFL. You have to throw people open. It's not like high school or middle school or whatever, or college half the time, to where people are going to be wide open down the field. An NFL quarterback has to be able to throw and anticipate. Throw people open. Throw his guys open. And anticipate with a big ability to be able to do that. That's like the most important thing. Anticipation as a quarterback. You have to have that quality in the NFL or you're going to be a wash. So, until Kenny can get that comfortability with his line, you're going to continue to see bad passes. You're going to continue to see a struggling offense. You're going to continue to see those things. But once this offensive line heats up and becomes a group, I think you're going to see big, big things from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And hopefully they're hitting their stride right at the right time and have enough wins in the bank that they're able to get in the tournament. And I think just then you might see something special happen in the city of Pittsburgh. Thanks, guys, for watching. This is Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. And until next time, peace.